if you feel uncomfortable charging higher prices, it's not because your offer isn't good enough. It's because you're pricing from a position of fear rather than your client's outcomes. How do I know this? Because I've helped a lot of different online coaches and consultants charge more without adding more complexity to their offers. And so, for example, I've helped one particular client, his name is Eric, go from charging $3,500 for a 90-day program to $50,000 for the same 90-day program. And he did that through this activity that I'm going to show you today. Now, the real change, it didn't come from any sort of sneaky tactics around confidence or sales tactics or anything like that. It came from a position of understanding the consequences, the cost of inaction to the potential client if they did nothing, if they stayed in the status quo. And so, if we look at Eric as an example, he helps men and women who are married, who are facing potentially a divorce, reclaim their marriage, improve their relationship, and continue down that path of commitment. And so, he started off, this was back in 2021, charging around $3,500 for his program, which was good for him at the time. But as he kept onboarding more and more couples into his services, he started noticing something. He started noticing the fact that all of these couples that he was working with were getting amazing results, amazing outcomes, which is great, right? That's what you want as an online coach, as an online consultant. You don't want just the money, which is good, don't get me wrong, but most importantly, you're doing it for the transformation that you can provide others, right? And so with those clients' results, what he started seeing was maybe he was charging not enough, right? He was undercharging compared to the value that he was offering people. Yet deep down, he still didn't know during the sales process how to ask for more. So he and I sat down over Zoom and basically we broke down the cost of not purchasing and not enrolling in his program versus the actual charge, the price that he was charging. And now you can apply this to your own programs, courses, mastermind. It's a good mental model. So I sat down with him and I asked him, okay, for this particular offer, with the clients that you work with, what is it going to cost them if they proceed? And like I've told you, the pricing was $3,500 at the time for the 90-day program. Now, that's what they would pay to enroll. But then I asked him, okay, for your clients, what is the cost of them not enrolling? Like, what prices are they going to pay? And so, as we all know, the cost of divorce, no matter where you live in the world, is pretty expensive, right? On for both the husband and the wife, it's financially, it can be crippling for a lot of people. So there's that, right? So that's a pretty big cost, a pretty big price to pay there if his clients weren't going to reclaim their marriage, work on their relationship, work on their communication. But then I said to him, okay, well, what about individually? What does that cost of inaction look like for both the husband and the wife? And we went deep into that psychological impact that that would have and how that would impact the rest of their lives, you know, especially if they were really thinking that, this person I'm married to, like they are the one. So how would life look like knowing that you lost your perfect person? So we went deep into the psychology and the actual real life consequences there, emotionally as well, which was, as you can imagine, pretty dire, pretty bad. Then we looked at, okay, what if children are involved? How would that affect how they see both their parents, themselves, relationships into the future? What does that really look like? And so what we really did, we looked at what the real cost of not purchasing, not enrolling in his program. Remember, at that stage he was getting great results. What that really looked like for the client. Now, what this does is it psychologically builds your conviction, your confidence, your certainty when you're talking to your potential buyers, your potential clients. And as you should know by now, it's not sales tactics, it's not the script, it's not your tonality that sells, it's your certainty. That's what your potential clients are looking for. They're coming to you for certainty. And so this permeates through your sales process. But what it also allowed Eric to do is start to see, well, I'm really undervaluing the transformation that I can help people with. 3,500 is simply a drop in the bucket. And so I asked him, okay, if 3,500 is nothing, what would you feel like now that we've gone through this activity? What do you feel would be appropriate as a next stage, given your results and given this activity, that you should charge? And we landed on 5,800. And the same thing happened over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. Continued client results. We didn't add anything into the deliverables. We kept the deliverables exactly the same because, again, he was already getting fantastic results for his clients. The only thing that changed was the pricing. And funnily enough, there was no negative change in Eric's sales conversion rate. There was actually an increase, right? Funny. The increase came from that increase in his own certainty and confidence in what he's providing. And so we used this activity, we continuously came back to this sort of milestone activity over the course of the next sort of 6 to 12 months. And lo and behold, I haven't actively worked with Eric for a few years now, but last time I checked in with him, he charged $50,000 and he got that paid in full, actually, for an engagement with a particular client, another couple that really wanted to work on their marriage and reclaim their relationship. And so from 3,000, 3,500 to 50Ks is a vast difference, but it fundamentally comes down to understanding not just what you're charging people, but like, what is the value? What is the real value to them when they make that investment to you? And the other side of that same motivational coin, what is it really going to cost them emotionally, psychologically, like their actual lifestyles, their quality of life? What's it going to cost them if they don't proceed, if they don't move forward with you? This is a really good activity to apply to any of your offers. Now, as you can see in my client Eric's example, it was a non-ROI based offer. That's a big myth in the online consulting and coaching space, is that you can only charge high ticket for an ROI monetary based offer, right? You give me $1, I give you $2.50 back. It's not how it works. What I've found over the past 7 years of working closely with a lot of these clients and selling for them as well is some of the non-ROI offers are the best because the emotion is right there. The cost of inaction is right there for people, right? So don't also fall into the bucket of the category of making the mistake that it's all about, oh, this stuff just applies to an ROI monetary based offer, right? I showed you in the example with Eric that it can be applied to any type of offers, and the non-ROI offers are the best. Hopefully you found this video really valuable. Apply it to your own business. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want one-on-one coaching and help with this, you can always book a call with me. Link is in the description and the comments as well. There's a pinned comment. And always stay safe. And until next time, happy selling.